This is not the lockpicking lawyer, but in today's video we are going to be covering something that I briefly mentioned in my new book, How I Rob Banks, but we'll get back to that later. I've been lockpicking as part of my work for many years. I'm not a locksmith, I am a hacker. I digitally break into things, but I am probably more well known for my physical exploits of buildings and banks throughout my career. So I have used lockpicking as part of that because it is required as part of that role. Now, just as there are differences between bug bounties and pen testers, see this video that I made earlier, there are differences in lockpicking. So you have the professional locksmiths, right? These are the people that are paid to get into a building no matter what, and they're paid in a way that, you know, you have to get into this thing, whether it's a safe, whether or not it's someone's garage, whether it's someone's house, they're paying you to get in. And generally, you know, if you get a good locksmith, they will try and pick the lock, but most of them go for a rotary pick, aka a drill, pretty quickly because they're just trying to get in. Then you have people that are hobbyists that sometimes turn somewhat professional. So you have the lockpicking lawyer. I'll put a link to his channel below. It's a fantastic resource. He was a lawyer that basically took his hobby once he retired into a massive YouTube channel. It's a great channel, please do go and watch it. But he is not a professional locksmith, right? He is just someone that does his hobby to an amazing degree. His skills far outshine mine, far outshine most people. And then you have people like me that use lockpicking as part of their job, right? So as part of our work that we do at Sargenta, we physically break into places, right? And that has a different need for lockpicking than anything else, right? Because we have to get in, but we have to do it quietly and we have to do it quickly because there is a need for those requirements that are slightly different from if you're a hobbyist or if you're a locksmith, right? Because I'm going to be sitting in a balaclava at 3 AM trying to pick into a lock in order to get into a building. I might only have a minute or so to do that before a security guard walks past or a security camera sort of tracks round to me. So I need to get into locks in a much quicker, much more efficient way and quietly if I can than most people would, like say for example a locksmith who could just drill through. So there are differences in those ways that we use lockpicking. So today I'm going to go back to something that I mentioned in the book, How I Rob Banks, is lockpicking. And in part of that, I didn't get the space to write what I wanted to about two tools that I think are invaluable to most people if they're trying to get into this field. The first tool I want to introduce you to is this. This is a lockpick gun. And basically it works with physics, right? You basically pull the trigger and this bit here flicks up and it hits all the pins and they jump up, kind of like if you were using a rake pick, right? You rake the pick really quickly in and out. That's basically just bumping all of the pins very quickly, kind of like a bump key does as well. But this one hits all of the pins all at once and it jumps them all up until you get all of the pins into a shear line, and then you can open the lock. They're very quick, they're very effective. They are quite noisy, as you can probably hear. So I don't tend to use them that much, but I'll give you a quick demonstration of how these work. Okay, so lockpicking demonstration with the gun. So put a bit of tension on this lock here. Hopefully you'll be able to see some of the pins jump around as we do this. So there we go. So it only took a few attempts, but we got there in the end. As you can see, it is quite noisy. So that's pretty cool. That's the pick gun. As you can see, it is very effective. Sometimes it can take a long time to get into a lock. Sometimes it happens very quickly, but they are always noisy. You can get electronic versions of these, like electric pick guns. They are also quite noisy. You can make one out of a toothbrush, for example. But again, they're noisy, they're not very covert, but they are a nice, easy, quick way into a lock. So next up are comb picks, and as you can see, these look slightly different to your average pick. They have a bunch of teeth, kind of like a comb, and basically these work in a very different way to most picks. Basically what we're trying to do is push all of the pins up past the shear line, not just like the top bit, but also the driver pin. So everything goes beyond that shear line and it instantly opens it. And it's essentially a bypass for any lock. It's kind of like the proper skeleton key that you see in the movies, the key that opens all the doors. And as you can see, there's a bunch of differences in them. They have different numbers of teeth, they have different spacings, so you have to make sure you get the right one. But once you do, it is incredibly effective. So I just want to give you a quick demonstration of that now. So this is a lockpicking demo of a lockpicking comb, and see how effective this is. It is literally going to be plug and play. So we get it in, there we go. That's how easy it is to open a lock with a comb pick. So as you can see, comb picks are by far the fastest way that you're going to get into any lock, and it's why I use them for pretty much all of my assessments. I've always got some on me somewhere. They are quiet, they are quick, they're almost as quick as using a key if you get the right one first time. So do try and look into them, try and get a set if you can. If they are legal in your area, please do not break the law. Make sure you understand all the repercussions of any tools that you do buy, and do go and check out the Lockpicking Lawyer for some amazing hints and tips on how to do lockpicking.